I'm warning you ahead of time. I'm going to be talking about boys love. I'm not going to be talking about K-pop. If you're here to talk about K-pop and you don't like boys love, this is not the live stream for you. I'm just letting you know ahead of time because I get it that there's very few intersections in my audience. There's some people who are here strictly for the boys love. There are people here strictly for the K-pop. There are people here strictly for a rant. There are people here that some reason or another they're here because they like the sound of my voice and my face. And very rarely do any of these things intersect. So in an effort to give you what you want and not make you pay attention to things you don't want, I'm just letting you know now. I'm going to be talking about boys love. That's all I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to be talking about K-pop unless it's very tangentially, because K-pop. I'm frustrated with K-pop in this very moment, and I don't want to say something about K-pop that I will regret. And it has a lot to do with the announcement that Super M is making a comeback, even though Taemin just dropped a single, and we have dates for when Super M's comeback is, but we don't have any dates for when Taemin's album is going to be released. We don't even have the ability to pre-order it right now. But again, I digress. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about boys love. And we're talking about boys love because there was a really interesting Twitter thread that I responded to quite a bit of the post regarding it. So I was like, you know what? This would be a great boys love conversation for my channel. And so that's what I want to do. I want to have a boys love conversation going by this Twitter thread. So if you'd like to join in on the conversation, if you'd like to retweet and answer some of these questions, the person who's asking the question, their at is ATPSLUT. That's right. It's basically at a pan slut, but it's ATPSLUT. And I thought the questions were really good. I enjoyed them quite a bit, and I thought you guys would enjoy the questions. I also have answered all these questions, so I kind of am cheating, but it's a good chance for those of you who'd like to interact on the Boys Love tip for us to kind of exchange ideas, see if we're on the same page about some things, just have a kiki, if you will. So let's start with the first question in the thread. And the first question in the thread was, what is the first boys love you watched? I think I've said it before on my channel. I know I definitely said it with Mason. My first boys love was Love by Chance. And I watched it in 2019, so I did not watch it when it came out. I watched it much after it came out. Second question is, the softest baby. Who is the softest baby? I said that it was Perth from My Engineer. Perth is the actor who plays Ram on My Engineer, and he is Australian and Thai. I think he grew up in Australia or New Zealand. I always get confused between Australian and New Zealand accents, so don't hold me to it. I'm not trying to be offensive. Just to my ear, it's really hard to differentiate the two. But yeah, he is biracial, and so he does a lot of his YouTube channel and a lot of his interviews in half English, half Thai, because he's not really great in Thai. He also speaks conversational Japanese, which he taught himself. So he's a really special boy. He's a very, very special boy. Okay, so next it was rate Together the series 1 to 100, 100 being the highest. Okay, so Together the series has a lot of really good points. If you were to look at Together in terms of lead actors, they have beautiful lead actors. They had beautiful sets. It was shot in a very pretty way. Of course, it's a professional setup because it's GMMTV, and they had a lot of really good cast members, like the cast members who played the friends of Tyne and the friends of Sadawat, even Top Tap, who played Tyne's brother. Really good job. Really liked them a lot. But Together has a couple of things that are pet peeves for me that I don't appreciate in this time and place. That high five at the end, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. So just imagine, if you will, you're dating somebody, and you and the somebody you're dating uh, go on a hiatus because you've been having an argument. But finally, you do get back together. And as you're having the conversation of you guys getting back together because you realize it was actually a misunderstanding, nobody did anything wrong, uh, you also find out that your loved one wins this huge competition that they have been training for a while, and they won it in part because they dedicated part of their performance to you. I'm certain that any relationship, you'd be like, "Oh, baby, that's so sweet," and you give them a little peck on the cheek, or a peck on the lips, something of maybe a hug, even if you're not one for great amounts of physical affection. I don't know anybody who would get back together with their loved one, have their loved one do a performance dedicated to them, and then when they win the entire competition, be like, "High five, bro." Really? Is that what we're doing in 2020? I don't buy it. I don't buy it, and I just felt it came across as very insecure. It came across as insecure on the part of the production team, and it came across as insincere on the part of the actors, because it's like you're in a boys' love and you're portraying two characters who are in love, but at the risk of seeming gay, you don't want to do a kiss. All right, sure. So, with that being said, I think a 65 is appropriate, maybe a 70, but low scores, over the middle, but still kind of in the middle, because it had so much great momentum. You were so invested in the will they, won't they. But once they got together, it's just like things fucking fell apart. Also, don't think I forgot the fact that Sarawat outed Tyne to the entire school without his permission. That's fucked up. That's actually pretty fucked up. Next, Boys Love series with the best plot. We're talking about Thai boys love here, because if we're talking about boys love in other countries, then this would be a much harder question to answer. But of the boys loves that I have watched so far, I think that Until We Meet Again probably has the best plot, because it is a plot about a couple who I guess in the 80s, maybe the 90s, yeah, maybe the 90s. Now that I'm thinking about it, time and everything, maybe the 90s. They were lovers, and their fathers basically found out they were lovers and threatened to pull them apart. And so one of them shot himself in the head, and then the other one did the same. And through fate, through the magic of television, they end up being reincarnated like 20 years, or they get reincarnated fairly soon after that, and then we hop 20 years into the future and they become lovers once again. And the story is kind of not only them like realizing that they are reincarnated characters, but also them having to resolve the thing that tore their families apart, which was their relationship and their reaction to the way that their family reacted to their relationship. And then also the two main characters in present day wondering, do we love each other because we love each other, or do we love each other because we're reincarnated? Because even though they are reincarnated, it's not like they are carbon copies of themselves in the past. They live different lives. They grew up in different families. They've had different experiences. They're their own person as well, but they're tied. Their soul is tied with these past lives. And so the idea of, once we've resolved our past lives and we've let that go, is there still a love between the two of us in our present? So I think that's very interesting. It was a different kind of plot that I'm used to. Next, underrated Thai artists. It said artists plural, but I'm just going to talk about one, because I felt like my answer was an answer that a lot of people would not appreciate, because he's so incredibly popular. I said Singto. I said Singto from Sodas, Friend Zone. He's coming to me. He's a really good actor. But because he was a part of Sodas, a lot of people don't understand how good of an actor he is, because SOTUS was so big and so popular in its time, and it encouraged so many other actors to get into Boys Love for that instant popularity, to get all these commercial endorsements and be able to do all these fan meetings and make all this money, that people look at him more of an idol than an artist. It's very similar to what happens in K-pop, actually. Like, when you get really, really famous in K-pop, people forget that you're a musician or a dancer or an actor or a songwriter. They focus on your idolhood. And Singto did quite a bit of work before he did SOTUS. He did quite a bit of work after he did SOTUS. And it all comes back to SOTUS. It always comes back to SOTUS. It never focuses on who he is as an actor. Like, he did really well in Friendzone. He did really, really well in Friendzone. He was great in He's Coming to Me. I watched his little Het series that he did, The Girl Next Door. It was all right, but he did really well in that too. And each of these roles that I'm talking about, he plays a different kind of character. He looks the same in everything. Like that, he's not a chameleon when it comes to the looks. But he has different personalities in all these things. And that's something that a lot of people don't appreciate about him, because he's so known for SOTUS. But the character he plays in Friendzone is completely different than the character he plays in SOTUS. The character he plays in Girl Next Door is completely different than the character he plays in SOTUS. The character that he plays in He's Coming to Me is different than the character he plays in SOTUS. There's a sort of confidence that his character has in SOTUS that he doesn't have in He's Coming to Me, because he's dead. And that's not a spoiler. Literally, the very beginning, the first episode of the show, you find out he's a fucking ghost. So it's not a spoiler. But yeah, he's different all the time. And he does it seamlessly. It doesn't feel like he's out of his headspace when he's playing these different personality types. So he deserves a little bit more acclaim for his actual acting skills. Next, Best Boy. I said my best boy was Ohm. Best boy is Ohm. Ohm Pawat, who I had a rant about on Mason's channel regarding his acting. Ohm Pawat is so very great. He is. He's so very great. I think the thing that I love about him, besides the fact that he's really attractive, is that he pulls out the feelings in me. When I watch him in Do the Movie, when I watched him in Make It Right, when I watch him even in The Shipper, which I'm currently watching, which is, it's not a great show, but I'm still watching it. He consistently draws my emotional attention. Like, visually, he's stunning. Visually, that man is fine. But watching him act, when he cries, I get a little bit misty. When he's happy, I feel elated for him. He just comes across very sincere, and I just dig it, man. I just really, really dig it. I want good things to happen for him. Next, Best Thai Actress. I'll be honest with you. I watch Boys Love, so I don't really get exposed to a lot of girls when it comes to acting. So that's kind of not the best thing for me. I don't know this actress's name, but the series Together has a female lead who I really liked in Together the series. I was not as fond of her in Bad Romance, but I really liked her in Together. I do not know her name, but she'll probably be my fave so far. Rate Theory of Love, 1 to 100. Theory of Love, I think I gave that one a 65 or a 75. Theory of Love is beautiful. Theory of Love is a really good looking series. Like, when you look at it, the sets are really clean and easy to kind of melt into. It's got Gun and Off, who are really good together in terms of, like, they have a good off-screen camaraderie, so when they're on screen, they're very comfortable with each other. It had White, who was in Lovesick. He's a Boys Love pro. He's one of the OGs. It had Earth, who's gonna be in Tale of a Thousand Stars. That man is fine. He was also in Waterboy. And it had Mike, who was in Together. So a lot of good characters in the show. So they had a lot of good actors. They had really nice sets. They had a really cute idea. every episode was named after a different romantic comedy movie, and they did like posters for each episode that was a reenactment of the original romantic comedies poster, theatrical poster. So like thematically it is adorable. But Kai and Third are the worst couple in the world. They really, really are. So Kai is an asshole. Kai is what we think Jay Park is, even though we have no evidence of that. But like that cocky, swaggy bravado that Jay Park has in his songs, and the way we kind of always call Jay Park a fuckboy, affectionately, but still, we call him that. Kai is that dude. Kai, his mission is to date at least one girl in every department in the school. He is juggling kind of girls at the same time. He is a terrible friend because he asked Third to do things for him to help him handle his women, and he doesn't adequately say thank you. He takes it for granted that his requests are a burden to his friend, and then he gets to a point where he thinks his friend might have a crush on him. So rather than having the honest conversation like, hey, Third, do you have a crush on me? Because I'm kind of feeling that you like me and I'd like to, explore that. Instead of having a mature conversation, he plays these little flirty games with Third. And then when he feels like, oh man, it's not going anywhere, proceed to like totally break his fucking heart. And then for the rest of the show, it is Third rejecting Kai not understanding why he's being rejected, and then Kai starting to lose his self-confidence and being broken because of the fact that Third won't talk to him. And it's just like a sad sack story for a really long time, like literally almost up until the very last episode. And it's not that I don't like angst, because Until We Meet Again is straight up angst. But Theory of Love, it's angst for no reason. Like, the problems between Kai and Third could have been wrapped the hell up in 6 episodes. And then we could have had more time for Unto. Anyway, Earth and White. We could have had more time for their story arc. We could have had more time to discuss what the hell was going on with the teacher and the student. But no. Instead, we got stuck with this kind of will they, won't they? Will he forgive him? Won't he forgive him? That kind of thing. And it brought down the show. So, lower ratings for that. Next. Not So Good Boys Love. So, Not So Good Boys Love would definitely, I think when I answered this, I said, What the Duck? I feel like that's the one that I chose, but maybe not. I feel like I chose What the Duck, but I could be wrong. So here's the problem with What the Duck. And that's why I said I think I chose them, but I really think I might have chosen something else instead of What the Duck. The problem I have with What the Duck, I didn't finish What the Duck #1. And it's very rare that I don't finish a series I start. I literally watched all of My Dream, and My Dream was trash. But What the Duck, what bothered me about it was the kind of aggressiveness of one character towards another. And this was like the main couple. It was the 2 people that work in food services for the airport. He was like mad aggressive about like trying to put the moves on this other character to win a bet that he could turn that character gay, which already problematic, right? And then you had this relationship between the brother of one of the people in food service and his lover, and their relationship was totally fucked up because the other couldn't come out the closet. His dad wouldn't accept him being gay. So it causes him to like spiral into drug and alcohol abuse and end up cheating on his boyfriend, and just all the wildest, worst things happen. So yeah, no, I wasn't very happy with that. But I feel like another one that was not so good, I can't remember what my other answer is. You'll have to look on my Twitter to see. But I gave pretty good rationale for my other answer for why it's not so good. Even though I would say, like, really and truly, Love by Chance, not so good. Let me explain. Love by Chance is really beautiful. Like, it is super beautiful. Oh no! So, Love by Chance is super beautiful. The problem is, Kano is a terrible ship. Straight up. Kano is a terrible ship. Kano should never have happened. If a person shows up drunk to their own house, they're not even in the streets. They are completely shit-faced drunk, crawling on the ground inside their own house, and they somehow, by hook or crook, make it to their bedroom. They get to their bedroom, they manage to, like, kind of mountaineer their way up to the top of their mattress. When they get there, there is a person in their bed. They don't understand how this person got in their bed. They're confused. They even think they might be in the wrong room. The person in their bed then proceeds to have sex with them. Now, again, a drunk person, drunk in their own fucking house, gets taken advantage of. No matter how much goodwill you put in the show, it's rape. It's rape. But the show that I dislike more has that same thing, but it has other sins to it. Engineer of Love. That's the one I put Not So Good Boys Love. Engineer of Love is a 3-story arc series put on by Studio Wabi Sabi, same studio that does Love by Chance, and Until We Meet Again, haha. And the first arc of End of Love is this doctor student and this engineering student, and the guy who plays the doctor student could not act his way out of a wet paper sack. Like, he just literally does not have a clue. He doesn't have a clue. He's a terrible fucking actor. I will say that without any disclaimer, nothing else. He's a terrible fucking actor. Their storyline was so damn dry because there was no chemistry between the actors. When they finally did get their kiss scene, they did it in the darkest light possible so that you wouldn't realize that this is what happened. This is the actor's face, and this is the other actor laying on the bed. I'm going to kiss you now. We're kissing. We're kissing. That was great. Like, it was so fucking lame. So that's bad enough. Then we get to the next story arc in End of Love. And that story arc, drunk guy, so fucking drunk he doesn't even know who he's kissing on, really. The guy that he's kissing on, rather than be like, I'm going to put you to bed because you were fucking drunk as a skunk and I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. Instead, decides, I will go ahead and sleep with you since you think I'm the guy that you have a crush on. Maybe that will get you to leave my friend alone. What fucking rationale is that? What kind of rationale is it if you and I are at the party and you start kissing me because you're drunk and you think that I'm fucking Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm like, well, if it'll get you over your stupid crush on that celebrity, I'll go ahead and fuck you. Huh? What? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. But people went gaga over End of Love. People are insane over End of Love. Loved it up. Not only that, but the guy who takes advantage of the drunk person has a girlfriend. And is cheating on his girlfriend. Even better, the guy he's fucking around with, that he pretty much raped their first sexual encounter, the guy he's fucking around with not only lives in the same building with the girl he's dating, they share a fucking wall. They literally live next door to each other. He hops out one bed and rolls down the hallway to the next bed. It's insane. It is insane. And his girlfriend is cheating on him. Rather than break up with his girlfriend, he just keeps fucking around with homeboy. What? And then I read an excerpt from the novel that this is based on because I'm like, okay, maybe the novel makes this make sense. Maybe the novel makes this better. Maybe the novel can explain why something so fucking problematic is on our screens. The novel's even worse. In the novel, homeboy is drunk And instead of just merely having sex with him because he was confused, he beats the kid up at first while he's drunk, then proceeds to have anal sex with him with no preparation. And so the kid wakes up the next day with a fucking fever because he's got an infection in his ass from the combination of feces and anal tear. I cannot make this stuff up if I tried. I cannot make this stuff up if I tried. His throat is fucking. His voice is gone the next day because he was screaming so much while he was being penetrated. I cannot make this stuff up if I tried. So, yeah, End of Love. And also, like, the last story arc of End of Love was a very unproblematic story. It was, like, just really a milquetoast kind of boring ass story. That was the problem with that one. It wasn't even interesting. The two lead characters had absolutely no fucking chemistry. The guy from the last story was actually pretty cute. He was actually pretty fine. And then there was like this little kid that he was wanting to date who plays a set of twins. But he doesn't play them with any kind of personality. So literally, it's one has glasses, one doesn't. That's the only difference. Anyway. Yeah, End of Love is fucking terrible, and I don't understand why it has such a huge following on Twitter by international fans. End of Love is fucking terrible. It is fucking terrible. I do not understand it. I wish someone would explain it to me because I really want to get it. I want to get it. Me and Mason reviewed End of Love, 2 of the End of Loves on our channel, and honestly, neither one of us can understand it. Neither one of us can understand it. At least the second story arc, the actors were good, but it was filmed trash as well. Like, it's a very unattractive series of boys' love. Like, super low budget. And I don't understand that either, because fucking Studio Wabi Sabi did End of Love, and they just got through doing Until We Meet Again. Until We Meet Again looks great. Why does End of Love look so terrible? It looks like it was filmed on like a student movie budget. Anywho's. Okay, next one. Favorite Thai song. I don't have a favorite Thai song because I haven't been able to get into Thai music. There is a certain pitch or tone of voice that's really popular in Thai music that just doesn't suit me. It's a very kind of like ballady style voice, and I'm not a big ballads girl unless it's like R&B ballads. But watching the show together, I really liked the Scrub soundtrack for the show. And there's a song by Scrub that's like SSSSS exclamation point, which was the name of the band that Sarawat was in at the beginning of the show. I really dig that song. So that'd probably be my favorite Thai song. Favorite boys' love. Favorite boys' love. My Engineer. My Engineer is my favorite. My Engineer is a show that the first episode of the show does the entire series no justice. Now, granted, the first episode of the show thematically is very clear, and whatever you get throughout the rest of the show, the first episode kind of has it for you. But the actors in the show are so incredibly charming, and the story is so like lightly paced, and it has like 3 main couples, and all of the main couples get adequate screen time. And that is practically non-existent in Boys Love. The director of My Engineer happens to be the director for the first SOTUS. His name is Lit. And a lot of people don't like SOTUS. SOTUS, as popular as SOTUS is, like I just got through saying how Singto like is super well known in Thailand for his role in SOTUS, for his ship in SOTUS. The fact of the matter is, SOTUS is one of those shows that you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between on this. You either love it or you hate it. And because of that, if you did not like SOTUS, you're probably going to find the pacing and the cuteness of My Engineer to be boring and not your thing. But if you love SOTUS and you love that kind of cute, slow burn, fluffy, romantic vibe, then you're going to love My Engineer, because My Engineer is honestly the spiritual successor to SOTUS in terms of like just those couples that like push and pull, but there's still a romance there. the confession comes way sooner and the acceptance comes way sooner than it does in Sodas. And Rom King, fucking Rom King, they are perfect. They're perfect. They're perfect. They are perfect. They're perfect. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. Favorite student from The Gifted? Have not watched The Gifted yet, so I can't really say. Do you miss Perth Saint? Perth Saint is the main couple from Love by Chance. They play A and Pete. I don't miss Perth Saint in that role, in that set of roles. I do, however, have to acknowledge that Perth and Saint had a chemistry, and I feel like with more experience and roles that were more crafted to the strengths of both of the actors, they would be a really powerful boys love couple. But there's been so much bullshit when it comes to the management teams for both, especially Perth's management team, and the rumors that they spread about Saint and the way they kind of like back-ended him out of a lot of business and a lot of opportunities that will probably never happen. So I kind of mourn for the opportunities that Perth Saint could have had. I mourn for the fact that these were two individuals who they kind of had to have each other in order to be as prominent as they are, but they'll also never be seen again in that coupledom if they remain with their current teams. So yeah, I kind of miss Perth Saint for like the way that you could tell that they had a really good chemistry on screen, but I don't miss the, number one, the drama that's going on with like their management teams, but number two, Love by Chance was filmed while Perth was still underage and Saint was not. And there's a lot of areas of skinship that feel like they're a little too much for somebody in Perth's age range. I don't miss that. I don't miss that part. That I can do without, because it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. All right, let's keep going. Rate Tharn type. 1 to 100. 85. 85. Leave me alone. I really enjoy Tharn type. I know that Tharn type is problematic. My explanation was Tharn type is like cigarettes. You know it's bad for society. There's nothing to make it. There's nothing to make it right. But sometimes you just need one. Sometimes you just need a Tharn type. I'm sorry. Me and Mason go into depth about it on his channel. So watch our vlog that we did on Mason's channel, BL_Kiki, like KIKI. Tharn type has rape and manipulation and just... Tharn type is bad. If you are a victim of sexual assault, Tharn type is not an easy show for you to watch. Lots of trigger warnings, a lot of it. However, if you feel like you can handle it, Tharn type, the chemistry between you and Gulf is fucking electric, and it's not just about the skinship. It is about like just the way that they fucking look at each other half the time. Like half the time when they're looking at each other, like, okay, so when are y'all gonna take off your clothes? Because y'all are about to do it. Like, it is just, wow, these are two people who are really fucking into each other. Then the storyline. Once you identify that there's villainy afoot, you are completely invested in like, what's gonna happen next? Let's find out. Let's solve the mystery. You know, like, you're there. Like, it is a soap opera. Basically, it's a soap opera. So there you go. What do you like about Taenu? I like Tay. I don't feel an affinity for Taenu as a couple. I really, really like Dark Blue Kiss. I thought Dark Blue Kiss was a really good show. I think that there were a lot of points made on Dark Blue Kiss. It was a relationship that was a sustained relationship. It wasn't like, oh, we just got together, happy ending. No, it was like, this is what happens after you get together with somebody. These are the hurdles that you encounter with a love relationship. And that, I really appreciated. I really, really appreciated that. But I don't like like New as an actor. And I've watched him in 3 different things so far. I've watched him in SOTUS. I watched him in I'm going to say SOTUS S. I'm just going to count that as one. I watched him in SOTUS and SOTUS S. I have watched him in The Waterboy, the series. And I've watched him now in Dark Blue Kiss. And every time I see this kid, the energy I get off him is timid. It doesn't matter what character he's playing, the energy I get off him is timid. And it comes across in the way that he expresses himself romantically as these characters. It comes across in the way that he expresses himself vocally with these characters. And it just makes it to where he kind of doesn't have much of a personality because he plays timid and shy so much. So yeah, I like Tay. I think Tay is a much more dynamic actor. And he's done some stuff that is very different than his character in Dark Blue Kiss. Like there's his character in Three Will Be Free. Is a very different kind of character from what I've been told. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Tae-Noo as a ship, but I like Tae-Noo as I like Tay as an actor. GMM or Studio Wabi Sabi? Copy A. That's what I chose. GMM TV has some really good actors, but they look at boys love as a genre that is catered to women, and they're afraid to go too gay with their shows for boys love. Like they have gay shows, like they have shows that are aimed at a gay audience, so like adults, I guess is what you'd call it. But their boys love shows, they don't ever want to go too gay, I guess. And so the relationships are almost friendships with intense stares and one kiss to show you, oh yeah, they like each other. Whereas Studio Wabi Sabi, on the other hand, they're not afraid to go there. And so their relationships look a lot more real. However, they allow a lot of fucked up shit to happen in their shows that I just can't abide by. Like fucking Klano in Love by Chance, fuck out of here. The rapiness from End of Love, fuck out of here. I could live without that. So copy A, because copy A used to be Koso Como, I believe. Make It Right. I love Make It Right. And a lot of people don't dig Make It Right. Make It Right, I actually really, really love. And also, My Engineer. So, yeah, I choose copy A. Next, when did you start watching Boys Love? 2019. Boys Love that you haven't finished yet. I have not finished What the Duck, and I started the first couple of episodes of Together with Me Again. I don't know. The vibe's not there. Next, what do you think of Afghan? I think that Afghan have a really cute friendship off screen, even though I think sometimes off to me comes across a little harassing to Gun. I don't know if it's because it's the way that boys tease each other, and I'm just not familiar because I'm not a boy, but there was this compilation that somebody did on Twitter of like off teasing Gun, and it wasn't playful, or it didn't feel playful. Like it was a lot of him like standing behind Gun and pretending to like pump him and sticking his fingers up Gun's butt and making innuendo, and Gun not really seeming to be playing along. And so that's uncomfortable. But they spend a lot of time together, and there are a lot of moments where Gun and Off look very comfortable with each other, and those make me think that maybe they just caught some weird moments between the two. In terms of them on screen as couples, there's a lot that could be left desired for Afghan or with GMM TV, so it's never going to go all the way there with them. It's always going to be kind of like, you know, one deep kiss is enough type of thing. But the two times are the two characters that they've played with the senior puppy love, paper honey love, blah, I can't even say it. It's like super senior honey puppy love, I think is what it's called. Gun's character is always a character who's chasing after Off, and Off doesn't want to give in until the last moment. Same thing with Theory of Love. Gun is chasing after Off is paying him dust, and then eventually Off comes around. And I don't know. I would love to see the reverse happen. They kind of did the reverse in their episode of Our Sky, but it wasn't great. It kind of just highlighted the fact that their relationships, or at least the characters they play, the relationships are so very uneven. But I'd love to kind of see Gunn be the breezy one and Off be like totally whipped for him and, trying to figure out how can I get Gunn to like me. Like, I'd like to see that, the reverse of that energy, because right now it feels very played out. It feels very played out. And I had a comment that said, I'm not familiar with the series, but boys do that often to annoy each other. I don't get that. I, as a girl, if one of my friends stuck her fingers up my butt, I'd probably be ready to fight her. I'd be like, bitch, what the hell? Like, it wouldn't be funny to me. But again, like I said, boys are different, and I acknowledge that. So while it comes across gross to me and uncomfortable to me, I have not lived that life, so I can't really call it. Next, SOTUS S or SOTUS? SOTUS S for me. I mean, I love SOTUS. If it wasn't for SOTUS, I wouldn't have watched SOTUS S, duh. But SOTUS S has a lot more mature storyline in terms of like, they're not in university in this story. Okay, so Kongpab is in his last year of university, but Artith is actually a working person. And a lot of the storyline has to do with Artith's dramas on his job. And I just find that, number one, more relatable because I'm an adult and I have a job. But two, it also is kind of, again, the same thing with Dark Blue Kiss. What happens after you get together? What kind of problems does a couple have after the happy ending? They finally got together. And that's what SOTUS S dealt with. And there's like a lot of little pockets in SOTUS S that are very precious. Like, there's the whole part of Artith having Kongpab intern at the same place that he's working at and trying to like not let the people he works with know that he's in a relationship with this man because he's concerned that it could impact his job. There is the whole subplot of the scheming, cheating team member who puts the whole company in jeopardy because they took a bunch of shortcuts in terms of manufacturing something. There's just a lot going on in SOTUS S. A lot more going on in SOTUS S, I think, than there was in SOTUS. So SOTUS S for me. If you get to date one of your fave Thai artists, who would it be and why? None of them, because they're all too young for me. Like, they are my sons. I could have birthed all of them. BL that you would recommend to first timers. Oh wait, never mind. I did say that I would date Type's daddy. If you ever watch Star and Type, the guy who plays Type's dad, they have him dressed like a fisherman or something. But if you look at that face, you could tell there's some good bones there. That's the man. Okay, let's keep going. Boys Love that you would recommend to first timers. Honestly, even though I have mentioned it and kind of talked shit about it, I would recommend Love by Chance. I think it was a great starting Boys Love for me because while it had like a lot of really cute, fluffy moments, it had a lot of kind of steamier moments. It had some good acting, it had some bad acting, and it had some very problematic tropes that you will see over and over and over again in the Boys Love genre. So I highly recommend it. Next, best Thai actor, Gun Athapan. He's the best actor, and he's the best actor because he is the man of 1,000 faces. I've watched him in Theory of Love. I watched him in Super Senior Honey Puppy Love. The title on that fucking show is so long, I never know what to call it. And then I watched him in a movie that I cannot remember the name of, but it had to do with like swimming pools. It's not called swimming pools, but it's like, I can't remember the name of the movie. I just remember that it was a vacant gymnasium that had a swimming pool in it. And I watched him in that movie, and he was so very good in that movie. Like, he was just, I don't know, it was just a very gripping performance. And it was one of the most nuanced performances I've seen from a Boys Love actor in Thailand. Next, who would you marry? Type's daddy. Next, rate until we meet again. 1 to 100, 100 being the highest. I gave it, I think, a 75, and that is strictly because they did not take advantage of Win Team when Win Team was sitting right there for everyone to love. And also with that show, it started to get a little bit draggy, the relationship between the two main characters. And it wasn't draggy like you didn't want to see what was going to happen with them. It just felt like they played a lot of the if they won't they have sex game, and I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. And I think that they could have spent more of that time establishing the doubts that one of them has about whether or not their relationship is real or if it's only based on reincarnation. So there you go. What do you like about Kristen Singto or their ship? Uh, I really like what they did with Sodas. I think that them in the characters of Kongpab and Artith had a lot of chemistry, and I really enjoyed watching them in both Sodas and Sodas S, and I really enjoyed watching them in their episode of Our Sky. Um, but I do think that people need to allow them to move on, because Singto's done a lot of really interesting work and it doesn't get any attention because people are only interested in him playing Kung Pao. Same thing with Artit. Christ is mostly known for Sodus, even though every single other thing he's done outside of his ship has been straight. And he hasn't ever said the words, but I think most of us get the feeling that Christ is not really into this whole boys love thing. And so because of that, I don't know. I really like their acting. I like them in a friendship, but I really wish that people would allow them to like spread their wings and do other things instead of constantly being mad when you see Singto in a role with another man because you're like, oh, he's not supposed to do that because he's a part of Pariah. So leave him alone. Leave them alone. Okay, next. Also, Chris, I'm disappointed in you. Let me always say that. I'm disappointed in both of you, but Chris, I'm really disappointed in you. Your apology could have been better. Next, top 5 best boys love. I can't remember what I put as my answers. I know I put My Engineer. I probably put Dark Blue Kiss. I don't know if I put both of the Sodases, but I probably at least put one of them. God damn it. Until We Meet Again, and I'm trying to think what the last one would be. I don't know. I don't think it was Tharn Type. I don't think I put them on the best list. I feel like it's something else, and my mind is going blank, so I apologize. Top 3 artists. I named 3 directors, and I don't ask me to name the directors' names, but I put the director Lit from My Engineer and Sodus. I put the director of Make It Right and Love by Chance New, and I put the director of Do the Movie, who also did The Love of Siam, and I put them as the best artists because if it wasn't for their direction, and especially with the guy who directed Love of Siam and Do his screenwriting, we would not have these super addictive, super game-changing pieces of media that would then propel the genre on. Like, Sodus is a game changer. Make It Right, for all intents and purposes, is a game changer, and people don't realize that. And then Love of Siam, that literally is the birth of the game. So, those are my faves. Are You Single? Yeah. Underrated boys love. I chose Make It Right. Make It Right gets a bad rap for a good reason. Make It Right was done with not a lot of money. Make It Right was done with some really young boys. So a lot of the skinship scenes are filmed in a way to kind of obfuscate or kind of take the attention away from the lack of skinship that's happening, even though in the storyline it is implied that they're engaging in sex and other things. Also, the introduction of the book from relationship, like the moment it turns from a friendship / longing to sexual, is horrible. I'm just going to spoiler it for you. So both Book and From are on Tinder, or Grinder, I guess, are Jacked. They could be on Bluid, who knows. Anyway, they're on like a gay dating app, and Frame shows up at this hotel room that Book has set up, and when he realizes it's his friend from school, his classmate, instead of like going home, be like, hey, listen, no harm, no foul. We're both trying to get it in. I'm going to go home now. Instead, he barges through the door and proceeds to force himself on his friend. And the next day, the friend realizes he had an anal tear, and he goes to the hospital to get medicine, and they talk about it. And the way that they play it off the next morning is like, oh, it wasn't an assault, it wasn't inappropriate, it was just like rough sex. That's how they try to play it off. But it didn't feel that way, the way it was initiated. And it's unfortunate that that's how their relationship begins, because Book and Frame have a very interesting and impactful relationship throughout their tenure through the Make It Right series. Like Make It Right 2, Fromm is dating Book and has to deal with the fact that Book has a sex tape from a previous relationship leaked on the internet. And Om Pawat, my fave, plays Fromm. And Fromm is trying so hard to be the rock, to provide support, solace, sympathy, assistance to Book. But Book is so lost in shame and guilt and fear and pain and all these other negative emotions. And watching their relationship go from we're happy together and we're having a good time and we're very loving to being we're strangers right now because you're not yourself and I don't know how to get you back. Like it's really, really good. So there you go. That was my answer for underrated. Next, mains. Maxtel. Rate Dark Blue Kiss. Dark Blue Kiss is probably an 80, 75 or 80 on a scale of 100. If Dark Blue Kiss didn't use Non as the plot device to kind of propel the storyline between Pete and Cal, then I think that show would be way better because I was super invested in Sunmork. But yeah, Non should have been a non-factor as far as I was concerned because his storyline, the shit that happened with him, could have been completely wrapped up if communication had been involved. But isn't that the way life is? Isn't a lack of communication the reason why we have so many problems in this world? Let's keep going. Best couple, Maxtel. I mean, Rom King too. It's a toss-up. I think I chose Rom King, but like, let's never forget Maxtel. Listen, the thing is, Maxtel is the best couple on and outside of their respective roles in Boys Love. Like, they're good and together, but they're amazing in real life. And that's not me saying that they're dating in real life. Don't take it that way. If you follow Tool and you follow Max on their social media, they spend a lot of time together. And not just time together like promoting commercials and doing photo shoots and filming TV shows and stuff like that. They do a lot of things together just as fucking friends. Like they do like really fun TikToks and shit together. And that in and of itself is really nice to like see how comfortable they are when they're not being paid to be around each other. Because like the TikToks they do are elaborate. These are not like little one-off TikToks. Like they're putting in the work. They're putting in the work on their TikToks. But not only that, they have made a commitment to the communities that they portray that is extremely admirable. Like they play a gay couple in Bad Romance, Together with Me, Together Again. They do that, right? And every time there has been an opportunity to recognize the LGBTQIA plus community, they've always done so. Like they always celebrate Pride Month. They always give a shout out to people in their industry who have been very instrumental to their growth as a couple, like a professional couple. And also, I want to say it was last month that there was like a survey to see if there should be an initiative to approve same-sex marriage. They were one of the first Boys Love couples to be like, sign the petitions, do the survey, we need to get this passed. Gay people deserve to celebrate love the same way straight people do. And that is something I love about them. And I don't love that about them because like it proves that they're gay. I love it about them that they are so secure with their manhood, they're so secure with their sexuality that they don't feel threatened or feel like people will get the wrong impression because of how close they are as friends and how they support the communities that they are portraying on screen. So I love them together. I think they're wonderful. Good. They're good people. Um, who's your girl crush from GMM? I don't currently have a girl crush unless you say Jenny, because Jenny is who I wish I had the confidence to be. Um, best girl. Best girl. Ty BL does not have a lot of good female portrayals, to be quite honest with you. So it's really hard to choose best girl. But I'm going to go with the dark horse here. I'm going to say Nikun's sister. I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. But Nikun from 2PM. His sister is in two different boys' loves. She's in Senior Puppy Honey Love. And she's also in Love by Chance. I really like her. I really like her. Like in Senior Puppy Honey Love, she plays like the best friend of Gun, and they're really cute together. And then in Love by Chance, she's just real chill and nice, and she doesn't try to make the gay guy her best friend, and she doesn't get overly nosy in their relationship. She's just a girl living her life who happens to have guy friends who are in love with one another, and she's just really super cool about it. And she's also dating like a sex addict, I guess is the best word to put it, like somebody who's extremely obsessed with porn and making sure other people are getting it in, and she's not fazed by that. And so like I just really like her. I really like her. Next question: top win or top bright verse? How much do you miss Tainu? I don't. What do you like about Cow Earth? When she says Cow Earth, I'm assuming she's talking about Cow and Kuhart from Until We Meet Again. What I like about them is that they seem very comfortable with one another. Like Earth, Kuhart, he can be a lot, and I'm not saying that to talk bad about him. What I mean is he has a huge personality. Like you can tell from looking at his Instagram, by seeing the way he dances at fan meets, and he's very confident in himself, and I feel like he doesn't have a shy bone in his body, but he doesn't have any kind of awkwardness about anything that he's doing. Sometimes Fluke can come across a little awkward sometimes, but that's not the same with Kuhart. He comes across as like very much, I love the skin I'm in. Everything I'm doing is perfect by me. I love me. Like he reminds me of that Meghan Trainor song. If I were you, I'd want to be me too. Like that's what he reminds me of. He's literally the human embodiment of that song. I really appreciate him. But I could see where somebody who lives their life that boldly and that loudly, other people around them be like, oh, no, I'm going to go over here for a minute. You stay over there. I'm going to be over here. Cal doesn't do that. Cal is like, this is fun. He's fun. I enjoy. Let's play. And that makes them a very attractive boys love couple. That they're just kind of like, I'm willing to play your reindeer games, friend. And I like that about them. On screen, they kind of gave Cal short shrift because like his character was a really shy, quiet character. And that was like, it doesn't give you a lot of range for acting purposes because it was like the strong silent type. It wasn't even like I'm shy and you get me out of my shell and now I'm loud. It was like I'm shy but I only talk to you now, so I like them as people. I like them together even. I just don't know that their couple was given all of its props in the filming of Until We Meet Again. Their beach scene is their best scene, by the way. The beach scene is the best scene. Favorite, what do I like about Brightwin? What I like about Brightwin is the fact that Brightwin seemed like they're very cool people. And I think I said that about Cow Earth, but it's a different kind of cool people. Like, they just seem like they're not letting this fame and like boys love explosion bother them. And I sometimes feel like some actors, once they become a part of a huge ship, it changes the relationship between the actors, because now they have to spend more time kind of feeding the embers of their ship fire. And it doesn't feel like that is the fact with Bright and Win. It feels much more like who they were coming into together is who they are coming out of together. They do a lot of stuff in terms of promoting and everything else, but it's not like they make it a point to add more skinship and more adoring looks and everything else to what they're doing. They still kind of just very much feel like two bros. Two bros that are maybe like better friends than they used to be, but still two bros. And I think that's really cool. They're not letting this shit phase them. Next, favorite Bright Win AU. I pulled this one out of my ass, but apparently somebody's done it before. But I really can see in my mind Bright Win in Uran Host Club. Follow me here. So Bright would be Haruhi, and then probably Win would be Tamaki. But I could very clearly see it in my mind. Also, I could see which members of their different entourages would play different characters from Ouran Host Club. In fact, I would cast AJ into the Together universe just so that we could actually have the twins. But anyway, I digress. Next, rate SOTUS 1 to 100, 85. Fucking SOTUS is amazing. Yes, I do acknowledge that there could be a little bit more skinship in SOTUS. They could take it there, but it is GMMTV. Also, I would like to have seen more from the side couples in SOTUS. There are a couple of ships that don't ever completely set sail in SOTUS. Like, Nu has a ship, it's a het ship, but it doesn't really get to go anywhere. And then in the SOTUS S series, there's another kind of underground ship that I think it's Today is their ship, that doesn't really go anywhere. And you could feel that it's primed to be something. But again, it just never goes anywhere. And I think that they could have done something with that. Next, recommend Boys Love. I recommend so many of them. My main one I recommend is My Engineer. It's a great fucking show. Overrated Boys Love. Overrated Boys Love. I don't remember what I answered for that, so I hate to just come up with something different now, but I don't remember what my answer was for that right now, so I apologize. Next, do you ship Namon? No, I don't. What do you like about Perth Saint? I think I already answered that question, so I'm not going to do it again. Favorite AU writer? I don't have one because I have been reading a lot of BL fan fiction, and I would say 99.99% of all the BL fan fiction I have read so far has either been terribly written or it has been stories that were cribbed off of Asian fanfics or AO3, and then the characters were changed. Like, I literally read one that halfway through the story I saw the name Donge. And I'm like, okay, obviously this is cribbed. There were like little things like, Hyung, and I'm like, okay, they don't say that in Thailand, so what the fuck? And yeah, so Boys Love, currently Thai Boys Love fan fiction is garbage, which is why I'm thinking about writing my own, because I need something better in the atmosphere to like make other people step their fucking games up. But there are a lot of translated Boys Love novels out there to read, and those have been a great time. Those have actually been a really good time. So, I mean, you choose what you want. I read My Ride, I Love You, which is going to be made into a show. It was really, really good. I read the translation of, what was it? Lovesick. I read the translation of Lovesick, The Adventure of the Boys in the Blue Shorts, I think is what it's called. It was actually a really good read as well. Okay, next. Favorite Tainu AU? I don't have one because I don't care. Favorite Afghan AU? Probably what I said. A story where it reverses the longing. Because I think that needs to happen. What do you like about Mugo? Their chemistry. Their chemistry is off the chain. They just really, they're electric when they're on screen together. They're much better in the scenes that they share with each other than they are in any other scene during the show. They look bored when they're with other people in a scene. What do you like about Bonprem? I get a kick out the fact that they both look like K-pop idols, and not just any old K-pop idols. They both look like very specific K-pop idols. Boon looks like Ilhoon from B2B. Straight up. Facts. He looks like Ilhoon. And it's like, it is scary when you see the side-by-side pictures of them. It is copy and paste. It's bizarre. And then Prem, under certain angles, in certain lights, looks like Jimin from BTS. And again, scarily so. Like, a lot. So, those are my choices. Like, if Prem was to get, like, eye surgery to, like, make his eyes just a little bit wider, it would be eerie. Ollie London would have somebody gunning for a spot. Next, Disha Puman. Who? They actually are the actors from My Dear Loser, The Edge of 17. I have not started that yet, so I can't say anything about them because I don't know. What do you like about Omfluke? Another one where like I like that they're comfortable together. But I find Ohm from Omfluke to be a little dry. He might not be like that in real life, but when he was playing Dean, he was a little hard to read emotionally. Z Saint or Perth Saint? I'm gonna go with the wild card here. Z Perth. I like to see it. I like to see it. I mean, because Perth is so small, and Z would be bigger than him. And Z is actually a decent actor. We just didn't get to see enough of it in Why Are You? And Perth is a really decent actor, and we've gotten to see it in other things. So, like, if you got two decent actors kind of battling it out, Battle of the Wills. But it would never happen because I don't think that Perth would play a bottom, and I don't think that Z would play a bottom. And when I say that, I don't mean like in Boys Love, people are defined by these fucking outdated sexual position equals gender type stereotypes. And because of that, I think an actor who's not secure within themselves feels comfortable playing a top in a Boys Love because he's like, oh, basically, I'm just playing a straight guy. Whereas playing the bottom is a more effeminate role for a lot of people in their minds, and so they don't feel as secure playing a bottom. And I don't know necessarily that Perth would be secure enough to do that, and I'm not sure if Z would feel secure enough to do that. And that's that. So, whatever. Favorite Thai Boys Love series that's not Boys Love? I said Diary of Tootsie because it's not really a Boys Love, it's more like a gay show. So, and I say that meaning like it's not targeted at the typical Boys Love audience. It really is a show about gay men's lives, written by gay men for gay men, and it's hilarious. Are you planning on going to Thailand? Thailand wouldn't have me. COVID has ravaged the United States' reputation that was already ravaged by the last several years, and so no, Thailand won't have me, so it won't be any time. What was the series that made you cry? The Effect. If you've never watched The Effect and you have the opportunity to watch The Effect, please do. Find a place to watch it. Find a place to watch it. That show is, I mean, so The Effect, I think, only has 4 episodes. But they are fucking powerful episodes. There's so much in The Effect that if we were to change the gender of one of the characters, it would still play out the same, but I think people would be even more angry about it. So I can't remember the characters' names, but I do remember that one of the actors, his real name is James. So James plays a freshman in university, and he makes a couple of friends, one of them being Pon from Love by Chance. and he's doing good in school. He's having a good time. And he always sees this poster around the school of the school's kind of mascot representative best student. And he's like, that guy has really got it going on. I mean, look at him. He's the mascot for the school. He's always making the best grades. He is a nice looking guy. Like, that's the guy I want to be one day. Like, he's just really doing it. But the thing is, I don't really want to be like him because I'm very shy and I don't like attention. But, you know, the fact that he can handle all this, I really admire that. Like, those are personality qualities that I really admire. As fate would have it, he and this like school mascotty guy run into each other and they become friends, and like really fast friends. Like, I'm gonna sleep over at your house even though you've never had anybody sleep over at your house, and we've really only known each other for maybe about a week. They become like really tight friends. The problem is that the popular guy, when you're popular like that, people have crushes on you, people are jealous. And a rumor goes around that the two are sleeping together. And our little freshman, James, he's like, yo, a lot of people are staring at me. There's all these rumors going on around me. I feel like I can't go anywhere without people's eyes on me. And they're not even true rumors. We're not dating. We're just friends. So I'm going to stay away from you because I feel nervous being around you because of everybody's assumptions. And you are like the top boy in the school. I don't want to ruin your reputation. So let's just kind of cool it and not talk to each other and just like, let's keep it casual so people don't get the wrong idea. Well, Mr. Popular gets really pissed off about that, and he goes to James's house and he proceeds to rape James. And this is not ambiguous rape. This is not, I was aggressive with you, but you fell in love with me. This is like, he is beating him. He's punching him in the face. He's kicking him. He's choking him. And then he is engaging in sex with him, penetrative sex, and basically holds James hostage in his house. And at one point, Mr. Popular goes to the shower and James manages to crawl out of his house. And he's on the street and his friends see him and they rescue him and take him to hospital. And James is not okay. This is not a rape where it's like, you know, I'll just shake it off. Things happen between you guys. No. No. He is not okay. He is in the hospital. He is hurt. His mind is destroyed. He practically drops out of school because he is so traumatized by what has happened and he doesn't want to run into his rapist at the school. And he is in his house, and his house is where he was raped. So he doesn't feel safe in his home, in his room. Like, it's just psychologically, it is one of the toughest shows ever to watch. And a lot of realistic things happen in this show. Like, the parents want to call the police. The parents want to kill this kid. The Mr. Popular comes from a very wealthy home, and his parents are alerted about the fact that their son has raped this other boy. And Mr. Popular's parents offer money to James and his family to make it go away. And the parents are like, you can't buy my son. What I need to see is you behind fucking bars. That's what I need to see. But James, because he is so very shy and he is so unassuming and doesn't want attention and doesn't want to be in the newspaper or have people know that this happened to him, he's like, I will take the money. After he takes the money, Mr. Popular is like, hey, that was just a misunderstanding between buddies. I didn't mean anything by that. I still really want to date you. Will you be my man? And James like, no. N-O, motherfucker. I don't want anything to do with you. First of all, I'm not even gay. So already quit assuming things. Number two, do you think that practically killing me and holding me hostage in my house, that's just something I can get over in the name of your fucking feelings? What about my feelings? What about the terror I feel every day being in my house and not feeling secure. Someone who I thought was a friend practically killing me. No, I don't want anything to do with you. So he finally makes his way back to school, James, after, this traumatic event. He's on his way home, and Mr. Popular basically accosts him at the train station and is like, "You have to love me. You have to love me." And James is so traumatized that he literally pisses himself and goes into shock. And thank goodness, again, his friends arrive to take him away. And it is just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So finally, Mr. Popular leaves school, and James can go back, and he finally graduates from university. He graduates a little bit late, like a year late, because he had to take some time off, but he does graduate. But it is implied at the end of the show that James sees his attacker and walks in front of oncoming traffic. And it's devastating. It's devastating because you don't know. You don't know. But if James had been Gemma, we would all be like, lock that fucking monster up. We can't believe he did this. But part of what makes the effect so heartbreaking is that this is a boy. And the reason why it is so much more heartbreaking, because he's a shy boy, he's a sensitive boy, he's a pretty boy, he's a short boy. He is what you would already assume is a gay boy, from appearance, from mannerism. And it's already a stigma for people to assume that he might be gay. But then to acknowledge that he has been penetrated by another man and have people discuss that he has been raped, which they do. It is the thing that you're the most hurt by, but you can never acknowledge that it happened to you. And you bear this judgment about you with people who don't understand the situation. And they're like, oh, well, he probably asked for it. Or, that's what he gets for being gay in the first place. And it's just, the effect is a hard watch. It is an extremely hard watch. I would never recommend it to somebody who wasn't strong of stomach. But if you are looking for something that has a little bit more meaning to it, something that is a little bit more socially aware, I highly recommend The Effect. I can't recommend it enough. And it has really good acting in it, super good acting in it. So that's my shout out right there. How old were you when you first got into Boys Love? Same age I am now, but I'm about to age up a year. If you got a part in The Gifted, what potential do you want to have? I don't know, because I didn't watch The Gifted. Love by Chance, I feel like I already rated that. Boys Love, that's worth watching. I recommend anyone who has been watching Boys Love for a minute, please watch your first Boys Love over again. Please do. Because I recently rewatched Love by Chance, and I was much more critical on that second watch than I was the first go round. And I feel like I grew a lot as a consumer of media between the time I first watched Love by Chance and the time I watched it afterwards. So I recommend anybody question your first. Watch it a second time and see if it holds up. You might be surprised how much you have grown as a person. Next, what made you watch Boys Loves? Rosario. Remain in the Sky here on YouTube is her. It was all her. I would have never done it if it wasn't for her, but she totally ruined me, and now here I am stuck in the maze. The Daddiest. The Daddiest is Max Tull as a couple, or Type's daddy, because Type's daddy is fine as fuck. Who was my first Thai crush? Singto. I think I watched Sodas right after I watched Love by Chance, perhaps. It was very soon afterwards. It was very soon afterwards. It might have been right after. And I remember seeing Singto smile and being like, hello, is it me you're looking for? I could see it in your eyes. I could see it in your smile. I mean, he he is stunningly attractive. And he's not everybody's type. Let me put that out there. Your type is not my type. My type is not your type. He's not everybody's type. But he's got this beautiful, like, golden colored skin. Like polished bronze. It's just gorgeous skin. And he's got these super white teeth. And the contrast between the two, stunning. He's got great shaped lips. His smile is huge, and it's just all oof, oof, oof. I like the way he does his hair. I like the way he smirks. I think his eyes are beautiful. Like, the shape of his eyes is beautiful. I like the way he emotes. I even like the way his voice sounds. He has a kind of higher pitched voice. I like the way his voice sounds. I like Singto. I really, really do. I have no assumption at all that there would ever be a mutual attraction. I feel like that boy is only attracted to other angels who have fallen from heaven. But I really, really took notice of him. I don't think that any of the actors in Love by Chance did that for me. Like, Love by Chance was fun to watch, but it was purely like I was watching for story. I wasn't watching and thinking, "Oh, that guy's fine." But Singto, on the other hand, I immediately thought, that kid is hot. Hot. Like you a lot. So that gets me through all the questions I plan on answering, which was almost all of them. I want to say we were looking at around like 20 some questions, and I gave you really rich explanations for most of the questions. So yeah, I think I totally did my part. Thank you for the couple of people who actually watched me ramble on about all this stuff, because I know there is a very small section of my viewing audience who gives a damn about boys love, but sometimes these are the things I have to get off my chest, guys. These are the things I need to talk about, because if I don't talk about them to you, who am I going to talk about them with, huh? Who am I going to talk about them with? So yeah, thank you for allowing me to spend the hour and a half talking about my faves. And this was all Thai boys love, by the way. I need to say that because if you have been watching me and hearing me and Mason talk about boys love, then you already know Thai boys love is cool, but Taiwanese boys love is my favorite area for boys love right now, even though the Philippines is coming on very strong. And so if I had to answer these using both the Philippines and Thailand, there might be an entirely different set of answers for some of these questions, to be quite honest with you. And if you haven't already done so, please try to catch up on Game Boys. Game Boys episodes 1 through 10 are kind of a complete arc. There will be episodes 11, 12, and 13, but they're going to be postponed for 2 weeks because of lockdown measures in the Philippines. And Hello Stranger just had their penultimate episode, so next week is going to be their last episode. Or no, I think their last episode is going to play in 2 weeks as well, because they're doing a fan event on the 16th. Anyway, highly recommend watching Hello Stranger as well. It's a little bit slower paced, but it feels very sincere, which I can always appreciate that in media. I can appreciate sincere media. So those are things to watch. I hope that you will engage with them and maybe catch up on some of the shows that I mentioned here and have a good time, because you deserve a good time. And let's just all pray that the world's not ending, because fuck it. Have you been watching the news lately? I got to talk about something else, because if I was talking about the news right now, yeah, I said damn. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.